Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, April 14th, and today we're going to be working with order of operations. Now, order of operations basically means in any math problem, the parts of the problem you have to do first. Now, we all know, or we may have heard about please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. There's one problem with please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, and that's when you learn it, it seems to be 6 different things. Please, parentheses, excuse, exponents. My, multiplication, dear, division, aunt, addition, Sally, subtraction. The problem with that is that my dear needs to be one thing, and Aunt Sally needs to be one thing. When you're going through order of operations, parentheses is always first, exponents is always second. But by learning, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, many people make the mistake of always multiplying before dividing, which is not what you do. We do these left to right together. Same thing in addition and subtraction. People seem to think because, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, that we always add before we subtract. That is not true. If you do that, if you always add before you subtract, you're going to get the answer wrong. So instead of please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, I want you to learn it this way. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We're going to bring the my dear together, so it's almost one word, and the Aunt Sally together. So repeat after me. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So it's only 4 parts, not 6. So we're going to do a problem really quickly here together. For those of you who don't know, these are the parentheses right here. So parentheses first means we're going to do the work inside the parentheses first. Exponents is this right here. Here's an example. This is 3 to the 3rd power. And this simply means that you're going to multiply the base number here by itself the number of times of the exponent. So this right here would be 3 times 3 times 3. Okay? Now, what do we do first, everybody? Please, right? So parentheses. So we're going to do what's inside the parentheses first. Everything else will just drop down so we can continue. Now, here's a good example of why we do not do multiplication before division. If you have that in your head and you multiply before you divided, 2 times 4 would be 8. You would be left with 8 divided by 8, which is 1. But that's incorrect. We do not multiply before we divide. We're going to, inside the parentheses, we follow the same rules. So inside the parentheses, multiply and divide left to right. There's no parentheses inside of the parentheses. We don't have to worry about that. There's no exponents inside of the parentheses. We don't have to worry about that. But we are multiplying and dividing. We're going to go left to right. What is 8 divided by 2? Very good. It's 4. Now, times 4. What's 4 times 4? That's going to be 16, okay? So 8 divided by 2 is 4 times 4. So we're going to drop that down. Everything else comes down. 3 to the 3rd minus. We have a plus sign here. We have to bring that plus sign down. And then we still have 4 divided by 2. Okay, so far we've done parentheses. What's next? Exponents. So we have 3 to the 3rd power. Well, 3 times 3 times 3. What is 3 times 3? That's 9. Times 3 again would be 27. So 3 to the 3rd is 27. And we're going to drop everything else down. We have minus 16 plus 4 divided by 2. So far we've done parentheses and exponents. Next is multiplication and division. Not multiplication first and then division. Multiplication and division left to right. So right here we have 27 minus 16 plus 4 divided by 2. What do we do first there? Well, multiplication and division, all we have is this part right here, 4 divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, okay? Drop everything else down. Now we have 27 minus 16 plus 2. Now again, we are not going to add before we subtract. Addition and subtraction are the same unit. So we're going to add and subtract left to right. So 27 minus 16 plus 2. What's 27 minus 16? That's 11 plus 2 equals 13. So if you take anything from this lesson today, I want you to change your mindset from please, excuse, my dear Aunt Sally, 6 things, to only 4 things. Please, excuse, my dear Aunt Sally. Have a great afternoon, everyone.